Hello everyone, I'm Lauren Nile, and I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts about why I believe Donald Trump has become such a phenomenon among Republican voters. I recently made a video about the Republican mess. I think it's called The Republican Mess, a Case of Serious Blowback, or something like that, in which I was explaining why I believe the Republican Party has now a caucus in the House that it just can't control, that refuses to compromise in any way with Democrats, and that has indeed turned on the Republican Party itself. Well, now I'm going to be sharing with you why I think Donald Trump is somewhat of a case of blowback as well. You see, in my view, the Republicans have used a few very specific tactics for winning elections at all levels, local, state, national, you name it. And they've used those strategies very, very well. And in my view, Donald Trump is now using those strategies better than any of their traditional candidates ever did. They've used a number of strategies, but I'm going to focus just briefly on three. One is their strategy of using fear. They use that to gin up their base very, very successfully. For example, they've said that President Obama is an emperor king, that he regularly ignores the Constitution whenever he wants to, and just willy-nilly does just, whatever he feels like he wants to do as president. They know that that's not true. The Republicans know that that's not true, but they know that their base doesn't know that. A certain part of their base doesn't know that, and that they're going to believe that and be afraid when they hear those kinds of claims. The Republican Party has used people of color as scapegoats, making white voters fear that their tax dollars are used to support people of color in this country at an alarming rate. So, Donald Trump is calling the people who rule our country stupid people, and he is turning specifically on Mexican-American immigrants in some very, very outrageous ways. So, I think he's just sort of upped the ante a bit, if you will, doing what they've done so well, but just doing it better and doing it in a more extreme manner. Secondly, the Republicans have used just outrageous claims and totally incendiary language to, again, gin up their base. So, for example, with regard to the Affordable Care Act and the care that people will receive under the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as the term which they used, and which, frankly, at one point, President Obama accepted and said, yeah, I did it. I'll call it Obamacare, so I'll call it Obamacare myself. What did they say? They said that there would be death panels established under Obamacare, and those death panels will decide who gets to live and who dies. They knew that that was totally outrageous, but they said it anyway. They're now claiming that there are fewer people covered. Fewer people have health coverage now than before Obamacare was passed. They know that that's a lie. They say it anyway. They're saying that coverage isn't the same as care, and that the quality of people's health care has gone down since the passage of Obamacare. They know that that's not true. They're saying it anyway. They have claimed that, with regard to still outrageous claims, that there's just a whole lot of voter fraud going on in the United States, and that these new voter ID laws in state after state after state are necessary in order to control the outrageous voter fraud that's occurring in the country. They know that every study indicates that that is totally untrue, that the cases of voter fraud are very, very few. They've denied climate change. They've said that, well, the science is still out. Scientists are just all over the map about this issue. There's no, scientific corroboration of climate change. They know that that's not true, that the vast majority of scientists understand that human beings are having an effect on our climate such that we're warming the planet. One of their favorites. If they pass any kind of reasonable gun safety laws, they're going to come for your guns. They're going to take your guns away. They know that that's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. They've said that President Obama has signed more executive orders than any other president. Just the opposite is true. President Obama has signed very few executive orders in comparison to some of his recent Republican predecessors. But they just make these outrageous claims and use the most incendiary language in order to gin up their base. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is doing that in spades. He's doing it in spades all over the place. He's beating them at their own game. And then finally is style over substance. That's number 3. The Republicans have used a very bombastic style for decades now, being as outrageous and as aggressive in their language, in their body language, in their tone as possible, trying to gin up that base's anger. And they've been very successful at it. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is doing that in spades. He's out-Republicaning them in that regard as well. So he's like a Republican on steroids. And they can't stand it. But because they've set that tone with their base, Donald Trump took note of that and said, oh, that's what it takes to win in the Republican Party? Okay, got to be bombastic? Check, got that. Got to use incendiary language? Got that. Got to use fear? Got that. Got to have style over substance. In other words, a style that's just, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. When I get in, this is what's going to happen. That's all you got to do? I can do that. Check. Okay. So he has taken their strategy and used it as if it were on steroids, if you will. Yep, he's out-Republicaned the Republicans. And now that strategy that they've used for so long has come back to bite them big time. Just as they've created their own mess with regard to their base, which has now put their Freedom Caucus in the House that they can't control. They now have a candidate as well that they can't control, that does not answer to them, Mr. Donald Trump, who has taken their strategies to the max. Oh boy, blowback, unintended consequences, some call it karma, whatever you'd like to call it. It's serious business, and we're seeing the Republicans get theirs in spades. All right, everybody. That's it. Thanks for listening. See you next time.